and welcome to I'm Your Biggest Fan, the podcast that chats to your favourite artists about their favourite artists. I'm your host, Jazmin L'Amy, in conjunction with the Noise Podcast Network and sponsored by Satanic Tico. Today, I am talking with Whitney Cooper, vocalist for Oxford-based alternative metal quartet Aramea. With a hefty blend of nu metal, alternative rock and hip-hop, their live shows are a force to be reckoned with Whitney delivering an energetic performance to match her harsh and powerful vocals. So it's a no-brainer then that Whitney's favourite band of all time, the one that changed everything, is Halestorm. I'm also going to give you a trigger warning for this one, as for me, Halestorm are also one of my favourite bands, so I will also be fangirling the fuck out on this episode. Stay tuned to find out more.
I'm your biggest fan!
So as I am sure you have seen across all my social media, this whole podcast is mainly about giving musicians the opportunity to forget about being a musician for a while and to reminisce back on the fact that this all started because they were a fan of music themselves.
Yes.
And especially with like the advent of social media in the last few decades, like a lot of fans themselves forget that their favorite artists also have favorite artists and that we're all just the same when you strip everything away. So I'm excited to do this interview with you today because your favorite band is also my favorite band.
Yeah, so cool. Buzzing.
I'm
Can't wait.
obviously wearing my t-shirts in solidarity today.
I love it. Oh,
So yeah, the band you want to talk about today is Halestorm.
Halestorm.
Fuck yeah. So the main question and the biggest question of all to kick this off is, do you remember the first time you ever heard Halestorm?
Yes, I was in college, so 15 or 16, probably just turning 16. And I don't know how I heard it, but I think I went to college in Oxford and did like music performance. And the way our college was set out is you come through these double blue doors and you've got pods everywhere of like, and these pods are they're like rehearsal pods. So we had like 6 pods and you would walk through like this corridor of pods. And when you walked through in the morning, you could hear people that had just got in and they would play like their favorite music through the speakers, like the PA in the pods. And I think it was like someone in the year above me and I just started college and they were playing Love Bites. And I had to go in. Well, I think I was too nervous to go in, but I like stood by the door a bit and I was like listening. And then I went home that night and I was trying to remember the lyrics of the song. And then I found it on YouTube and then my life changed.
I love that story because like I'm very similar, especially when I was younger and I was like, I heard something I liked, because usually when I listen to music, it's always the lyrics and vocals I pick up on first. So if I don't know what a song is, I'll try and remember a line and just hope that Google knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yes, literally.
So the nice thing about Love Bites is, funnily enough, that was the second song I heard. The first one I heard was Break In.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, right, which is obviously wildly different from like anything else that they did.
Yeah.
So it was Break In, Love Bites, and then Freak Like Me.
Yeah.
So there was kind of like they ticked all of the boxes. Like they had the emotional ballady stuff and then like the hardcore like fuck you kind of shit, which I loved. So after you discovered Love Bites, what happened after that? Like, did you continue to delve down the rabbit hole of Halestorm, or did it take you a few years to come back to them?
Yeah, it was like instant. It was a bit mad, really, because I think during that time period where I just moved up to college and everything was new and exciting, and I had finally found a place where I could find musicians that were similar to me. And I always knew that like at school, like I live in like a little town and there's not many like alternative people here. So when I was like at school, I had like a little friendship group, but never really like any musicians that were into the same sort of music. There's like one guitarist that I used to do bits with, but when I went up to college, I was just surrounded and it was
Hmm.
amazing. And I hadn't really delved into alternative music. Obviously, I think my brother was my first introduction to like Linkin Park, Korn, all of that stuff. But I hadn't really found like a female that was like a strong, empowering, like someone who really resonated with me. So
Yeah.
when I found that video, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. So yeah, just I went straight in.
Yeah, I find that, at least for me, when I discover new bands, it's always the first song I ever heard that seems to kind of remain my favorite one because it
Yeah.
holds so much like nostalgia and meaning behind it.
Mhm.
So for you, like, is Love Bites your favorite song, or have other ones overtaken it since then?
I think it always comes like every time Love Bites comes on, I feel that feeling again. And I think that's like there's just so much power and that riff at the start. And it's like the first Hailstorm song that I learned on guitar. And like I made my college band play it at one of our first concerts we did at the college. So it was just the first one that I was like, this is it. So I always get that same feeling. And then I Miss the Misery as well is
Hmm.
also a banger. So those two I think would be my favorite for sure.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, you and me definitely have exactly the same feelings towards Hailstorm, like especially growing up around heavy alternative music. Like
Mm.
I'd been exposed to, like Paramore or the Runaways, but for me, those, even though they're wildly different from each other, those types of bands weren't like angry enough for me,
Yes, I totally get it. I totally
right?
get it. Because I don't know why, but I had this really weird thing that I just didn't like Paramore. And I feel like I would have really loved them if I let myself get into it, but for some reason I just thought this is not it's not clicking with me.
Hmm.
I mean, I love Paramore now, but like back then I just used to think everybody used to love them. And then but it wasn't giving me enough. Needed
Hmm.
some more angry, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that about Lizzie Hale as well, because she's obviously very open about like her sexuality and like her interests. So like she's got this very like feminine sexual side, but then she's also got this equally angry masculine side. And I think it's like both those things together
Yes.
as just like that's the perfect balance for me.
Yeah. She's just brilliant. I just think the way that she holds herself and she's so respectful as well. And but she's just one of a kind, really. I can't think of anyone that I would compare her to.
It's because she's incomparable.
She is incomparable.
Is that a word? I feel like it
Yeah, I
is.
think so.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I was gonna like try and say incompar. No, I don't know. As long as that's a word, I'm fine.
Incomparable.
So you mentioned there that your brother introduced you to bands like Linkin Park. So
Mm.
before you discovered Hailstorm, what were you listening to before that?
So before that, uh when my brother first, so I was a bit of a like how I was into like N dubs and
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. And then my brother was always into heavier music and he introduced me to like Nine Inch Nails and Linkin Park. Well, our dad used to listen to Linkin Park a lot as well, so I kind of knew about them. Um, and then who else did I used to listen to? We used to listen to like Limp Bizkit, Korn. But then as I started to kind of find my own way, I
Hmm.
started listening to more like emo stuff, like The Used. Oh, I used to love Black Veil Brides. I will say it.
Did you see them open for Hailstorm recently?
No, I didn't. Did you? You did, didn't you?
It was my birthday present.
How was it? Did you enjoy it?
They were so fucking good. I'd only seen them
Okay.
play download in like 2018 and they were great.
Yeah.
And they were also good when they opened for Hailstorm as well. So
Do you know, people always cringe, and I cringe myself when I used to say that used to love Black Veil Brides. I was the biggest fangirl. I remember me and my friend Charlie, the first time we went to see Black Veil Brides was in Wolverhampton, and we'd never come out of our little town in Oxfordshire. And we went into Wolverhampton, full like face makeup, like war paint.
Uh-huh.
And it was so scary, but it was the best time ever. And I always remember that night because they were so good. And anyone I say, like, oh, Black Veil Brides were a great live band, they're like, oh, but Black Veil Brides. And I just think, but they were great. Like, they
Yeah.
were a good band live.
Exactly. Like I had a weird thing. Like I never went through an emo phase, but one of my best friends was a massive emo. And one of the bands she listened to a lot was Black Veil Brides. And I do
Yeah.
this thing where like I'll pick up on lyrics and melodies like really quickly. Like it'll get to
Mm,
the second chorus of a song I've never heard before and I'll be able to sing it word for word.
amazing.
So like Black Veil Brides I never listened to on my own, but the times that I've seen them, I knew all their fucking songs and I was like, how
I
do I
love
know
it.
all this?
That's good songwriting as well.
Exactly. So like people who shit on Black Veil Brides can shut the fuck up.
Absolutely.
So when you were listening to all that stuff before Halestorm came along and like Halestorm was the first band you got into of your own accord,
Mm.
besides the Lizzie Hale aspect of it, what about Halestorm stood out against all the other music you were listening to at the time?
One thing that I found out really quickly was that RJ, AJ, the drummer,
RJ. Yeah.
RJ is Lizzie's brother. And that was like, that was amazing for me because I'd found this incredible woman who was also in a band with her brother. And my brother is also in my band now. And so something about that really like felt special.
Hmm.
And I just thought, this is amazing. And you can feel like the whole family aspect of the band and you can feel the love. Like when you watch interviews, they're all so, caring of each other and they're all so supportive of each other. And I think that's because I used to watch like Asking Alexandria interviews and they were awful, like horrible,
Yeah.
horrible. And then like the contrast, I just thought, this is great. Like, and they were a band for years and years and years, and I'm pretty sure it's been the same lineup like since whenever they started. And I just thought, this is brilliant. Like, they're such a tight unit, and I think that's what really like resonated with me when I first found them.
Yeah, so like less of like a musical influence and more so like a personal one that like
Mm,
you can see yourself, like not
yeah.
just in Lizzie, but in like the whole band.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I just loved all their personalities, and yeah, I just loved how nice they were.
Yeah, they are. I can say that they are very, very lovely people.
Yes.
So your band, Aramia, have, correct me if I'm wrong, two EPs and a handful of singles.
Yeah, so we released an EP called Castle Bravo back in like 2018 or 19. That's gone now. We deleted that from Spotify just because we don't think it represents us, but you
Hmm.
can find it on my website and stuff. But yeah, last year we just released 10 singles, well, 5 singles with B-sides because we had a big catalogue of music that we just wanted to get out. And then this year we're releasing I would say it's like our first proper EP
Okay.
this year. Yes.
So when it comes to like your own music writing, how have Hailstorm influenced your writing in general and your vocal performance as well?
I think they've influenced a lot when I was younger before Aramea. Um, I was influenced a lot by um the way that Lizzie writes her lyrics very like freely. I was influenced a lot in that, and I used to play guitar in a band too. So it was very like Hailstorm-esque. But I think with Aramea, um, it kind of subconsciously sinks into like how I use my vocals in certain songs and the way she kind of soars through like high notes and she can she uses that grit. She's the
Mm.
first, I think she was the first female artist that I heard kind of do a bit of like a Fry-esque scream. And I just thought, oh my God. And it took me years and years and years. And I tried, and I could never get my voice to sound like hers. But through that process, it was like a lot of, you know, trial and error of what sounded right for me. But I had to kind of accept that we had very different voices. So
Oh
I was like,
yeah.
oh, I will never sound like her. So I just tried to kind of learn and mimic certain things and found my own kind of route through her, which was really nice actually.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's lovely. So is that like obviously when you first started writing and singing, trying to do that, is there a difference in the way they influenced you back then compared to now?
Yeah, definitely. Like back then, a lot of my lyrics were quite Halestorm-esque. Like I would do a lot more like high, I guess you call it like, uh, I don't know, like kind of just like I'd use more high notes and kind of don't know. I used to oversing quite a lot, I think, when I listen back to like old recordings. But now I've taken like the niceties from her voice. And because over the years it's kind of like I've molded sort of how I feel like my voice, what I can take from her now. I think vocally there are aspects of like her tone that I think pop out in newer music, which I think is nice. I've taken what I liked and then kind of molded it, I think.
Yeah, that's good. It's kind of like it's evolved as you've also been evolving.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
So I mentioned before that like I've seen Hailstorm a few times. Have you ever had the opportunity to see them live yet?
I have. I've seen them twice. So the first time I saw them, I was in college. We were in our second year at that point. A group of my friends were going, and the concert like sold out. And so one of my good friends, Mike, who's in the band Lestelle,
Mm.
he was like, "Do you know what? You can have my ticket." So I bought my ticket off of him, and I went. And I remember, I think. Who were they? They were supporting Alter Bridge on that tour.
Oh, amazing.
So it was just an all-round amazing show. And so that was the first time I saw them, and I just cried like the whole time. I was just like, oh God, this woman is amazing.
Yep.
Um, and then the second time I saw them was a couple of years later. My mum bought me for my birthday like a meet and greet package.
Oh,
So
amazing.
yeah, I saw them at Bristol O2 and I met them, and I've got I asked her nicely if she could sign my guitar. So she signed my guitar and she
Did you
signed,
bring your guitar with you to a meet and greet?
yeah. I've got it here. I'll show you
Show me.
what I needed to show you. So this was the guitar they signed. How cool.
That is
And
so
I,
cool.
I also took this and she signed this and she wrote, "To Whitney, keep rocking and rolling."
That is so fucking wholesome. I love that picture as well.
It's amazing, isn't it? And I was so cheeky and I was like crying and cry. I was trying really hard not to be like a lettuce, but I just
Yeah.
couldn't help it. And I got up to the table and they were like, "Uh-oh, someone's got a fan." And I was like, "Oh, I'd really love to sing with you." And I sang "All I Wanna Do Is Make
Oh,
Love to You."
tune.
Yeah, and I sang that with her and it was just a memory I will never forget.
Oh.
I know. It's
Well, I
amazing.
mean, like, you have to put yourself out there and do these things because you're not gonna, it's unlikely you'd get like an opportunity again sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And like,
Exactly.
you think about the amount of people these bands meet as well. It's like
Mm.
you're either gonna make a really good impression or they've met that many people that if you make a fool of yourself, they're probably not gonna remember.
I know. And I do wonder that if I ever get to meet them ever again. if I explain the whole meet and greet thing, whether she would remember. Probably not, but she might do. Maybe she saw the guitar. Who knows?
I think she would. Like, she's that lovely. Like, the first time I met her, so one of the artists I work with is a guitarist called Sophie Lloyd,
Yeah.
and Lizzie guested on one of her singles. And
Mm.
so my boss is Sophie Lloyd's manager.
Mm.
So when they were doing the music video together, my boss was like, Jazmin, do you want to come along and help out at this music video and meet Lizzie Hale? And I did that thing you did where I was like, never thought this opportunity was going to happen. So I was like, fuck, what do I say to her? Like, how do I say it? So I was just like going through the script in my mind of like what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. Because like I didn't want to overbear her, but at the same time, if I didn't tell her how much she meant to me, I would regret it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the second time I met her was at the Heavy Music Awards last year. So I met her twice
Mm.
last year. And
That's
she
so.
remembered me, and I was in this like long black ball gown, and she looked me up and down, and she was like, "You look gorgeous." And
Oh,
that's all I need out of life is Lizzie Hale saying that I look gorgeous.
life has been made.
Exactly.
That's
I
amazing.
also brought something to show you as well.
Ah, brilliant. I'm so excited.
I got a photo with her, and
It's
I
so
also
cool.
got her to sign one of the NDA forms that we had at the music video.
Oh, you're so adorable. I love that so much. That's so sweet. Bless. I bet that meant so much to her as well, though.
I hope so.
I'm sure. I think it must have. So
Yeah. But
cute.
yeah, if you ever meet her again, like she's one of those people that probably remembers a lot of the people that she meets.
Oh, that's
I
so
don't know how
lush.
she does it. Like I don't meet anywhere near as many people as she does, but every year I'm still like, I know too many people.
Oh, absolutely. Oh God, that's so special. That's so nice.
Yeah. So when you saw them live,
Mm.
besides like the emotion and the crying, what about their live show has like stuck out in your mind about the first times that you saw them?
I just remember standing there and I was just fixated
Hmm.
on how she could play guitar and sing so well to such a high standard, like at the same time. And it really made me think, this is great. Like, this is such a amazing influence. And then also the other part that I remember always sticking out is when RJ always does his like drum solo, his like giant sticks.
Yeah, I feel like that's very Marmite. Like I've read reviews of their live shows as well.
Yeah.
And it like always goes down one way or another.
Yeah, there's always an opinion. Yeah, I think it was good. I just
Yeah,
loved it.
I mean like especially I mean I guess it's the same with anything. Like if you're already a fan of a band, then you're going to be happy with them doing anything.
Yeah, literally. Like they could have literally done anything and I'd have been like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Like I remember I saw them at O2 Shepherd's Bush a few years ago now, maybe like 2.5 years ago. And it
Mm.
was an evening with Halestorm. So they didn't have any openers. They had an acoustic set and then they had an electric set.
Wow.
There was like a double dose of Halestorm. And we got to hear loads of usually electric songs and acoustic versions,
Oh, I love it.
yeah, which was so magical.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds amazing.
So,
Gosh.
so out of their 5 studio albums, do you have a favorite?
I think my favorite to always go back to is like the self-titled one
Okay, yeah.
because that was the first album I remember being able to listen to in full. I remember being at the gym when I was like I really got into the gym when I was like 16, 17. So I remember going to the gym and I had MP3 to no, what was it? Video to MP3, ripped the album off of YouTube, and I had it saved on my phone, and I would just listen on repeat like all day, every second I could, like on the bus at the gym. And I just remember it was just that's the album that I always go back to. I just love that album.
Yeah, that one. So like that one is not the one with Love Bites on it. So out
Yeah.
of the tracks on the self-titled, which one is
Mm,
your favorite?
I need to have a look at that. Hold on. Let me just remind myself.
Because I think I Get Off is one of their biggest songs
Yeah, I
on that
think I Get
record.
Off was definitely my fave. Let me just check before I commit. Bet you wish me had me back. But Innocence was like one of my favorites. And also Familiar Taste of Poison. I remember watching their live YouTube video of them performing it somewhere, and I just watched it on repeat like forever because I just thought it was amazing. I
It
just
is
thought it was
such
so
like a
amazing.
haunting song as well. Like I love listening to
Oh,
that with my headphones on, just like walking to the shop or something. And then
yeah.
like when the middle eight kicks in or like the
Oh,
last chorus and there's suddenly like so much more music behind it and it just gets like bigger and more epic. It's
it's just goosebumps. And
yeah.
her voice is just insane. I just hear it and I think, God, it's so pure and raw and just there's so much energy. And
Hmm.
also on that, have you heard on Spotify, they've got like their first ever album or their first ever EP, and it's like, what's it called? Don't mess with the
Oh yeah. Yeah, that
time
one.
plan or like, yeah, something like that. But it's crazy to like listen to how how far they've come, like as musicians, especially her voice, like
Hmm.
it's mad. It's mental. I love it.
And do you have any of their albums that you have found slightly underwhelming?
So their newest album, however, however, I do very much enjoy Back from the Dead. I
Mm.
do like it, the song. But then as the album went on, and I don't know whether I've only given it like 1.5 listens.
Oh, you need to give it way more than that. Because like after The Strange Case of, that's my next favorite album from them.
Is
Um,
it?
yeah, because and I really enjoyed Vicious as well. I think my least favorite is Into the Wildlife. I just
Oh,
I
yeah.
just didn't think like the songwriting was as strong, but on Back from the Dead, like going back to this like viciousness that she's got and this anger that she's got, there's a lot more of that on their most recent records. And I also like the song Bombshell, or there is a song Wicked Ways and I Come First. Like
Oh, yeah.
her
Wicked.
more like sexually empowered ones.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
always my most favorite ones.
Love it. I love that. Oh, yes. I love that. Is Into the World, is that the one with Mayhem on?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I saw them live the second time, I think they debuted Mayhem when I saw them. And I
Hmm.
was obsessed with that song for ages. But because it wasn't out, all I had was like the little video I took on my phone. And then when it actually came out, I was like, this is the song. But then I remember listening to the rest of the album, and like you, I did think it was a bit, oh,
Mm.
I
Like
don't
it,
know.
yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, that one was my least favorite one. But I would highly recommend giving Back from the Dead another go.
I will, I promise. After this, I'll just put it on and I'll put my AirPods in and I'll just listen.
The best way, like if you is when you're going for a walk somewhere. That's when I
Mm,
listen to most of my music.
okay. I will listen.
I'm giving you homework.
Good, good, good. Give it to me.
Have you heard any of their like in between covers EPs as well?
Yeah, like the reanimate one.
That
What
they've
is it
got
called?
three of
Yeah.
them.
Yes, yes, yes,
They're
yes.
so fucking good. Like they're so my other favorite band is Guns N' Roses, and
Yeah.
their cover of Out to Get Me, like it's very hard for anyone to like emanate Axl Rose's voice. But
Mm-mm.
Lizzie Hale fucking nails it.
Do you know what? That's so funny because in the car today, because I was thinking about this interview and I was like, who are Lizzie Hale's biggest inspirations that you hear in her voice? And I would say it's Axl Rose and Heart.
Hmm.
And yeah, I agree. I think she's just amazing at like that classic rock, like growly sort of tone. I think she's brilliant.
And
Yes.
like not even that, but like they did a cover of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance.
Yes, that is, I think also that was, I think that's one of the first songs that I listened to. That's like one of the YouTube videos that popped on next after
Mm.
Love Bites. And I loved Lady Gaga already. So I was like, oh my God, this has just like made my whole world.
Hmm. Like it's so hard for bands to cover songs, and the
Yeah.
fact that they've done so many of them over such like a broad
Mm.
genre range and they've nailed every single one is fucking
Yeah.
impeccable.
There's another one as well that I used to listen to in the gym. What was it? Used to do it in like, oh, Get Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They did that. I remember listening to that and thinking, oh, this is much better than the original song. Because I thought the original song was quite boring. I think we had to do a cover of it at college, and I thought, this is the cover I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
the style.
So of their cover songs, do
Mm.
you have a favorite?
I like um I like Shoot to Thrill.
See, another like voice she's impeccable at emulating.
Yeah. When I heard that one, I thought, how is this possible? And I think also listening to like the covers, because her voice is so strong and powerful, the younger me tried to like imitate that a lot. And I
Mm.
think that was a really important learning curve for me because like I said before, like I used to oversing a lot and I used to always give like 110%. And I think I learned from Lizzie Hale that to be able to do that, you have to tone it back a little bit, like learn more, learn more. So listening to those covers really taught me a lot because to have a strong voice, you've got to be slow.
Yeah, you got to pick your moments.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we touched on earlier about the fact that like all the band members are so lovely and like Lizzie and RJ are siblings. And
Mm,
like they've retained the same lineup near enough their entire career, which is
mm,
incredibly impressive and quite unheard of a lot of the time. So,
yeah.
what do you think their secret is?
I think it's a lot of communicating. I think it's a lot of friendship. And I just, I think, I think it's just really important to be friends first. And I think that's probably where they see it because being in a band is a business. So it's like they're all business partners, right? So they have to have an aspect of business and an aspect of friendship. And I think maybe if you can draw the line at, you know, if something happens while on the business side of things, you can then go back, like when you get home, you're friends. Like if
Hmm.
you can keep that friendship unit strong, I think making making choices and um plans, I think is easier potentially. I don't know. That's what I've taken from it. I think that's how I would navigate things.
Yeah, of all like the interviews that I've watched from them, and like they get asked that question a lot as well. I've
Mm,
noticed that like especially when bands get bigger, they'll kind of sort of split off and do their own thing, and they will
mm,
only come together if it's music related, the business related
yeah,
side of stuff. But they've said that even on their off days, they will always go and do stuff together.
yeah, that's
I guess
nice.
it's kind of like team bonding exercises.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's good to know. That's good to know. I think it's so important though, isn't it? Because you spend so much time with the people that are in your band that if you don't have that relationship with them, then I think it definitely you can feel it in the music and in
Hmm.
interviews. And with Halestorm, they're one of the bands that you don't get that because you just constantly feel the love.
Yeah. Yeah, and that
Mm.
comes through quite a lot with them, which is always like really wholesome to watch. And there's another reason why like I love them so much because they've got that
Yeah.
personable aspect to them as well.
Yeah, literally, absolutely.
Lizzie Hale is also known for always being up for a vocal collaboration. Namely, recently, she's collaborated with Daughtry, Native Howl, Blackstone Cherry, Sophie Lloyd, The Pretty Reckless, Stone Sour, and most recently with I Prevail. Who
Yes.
would you love to see her collaborate with in the future?
Oh, do you know what? If Flyleaf carry on, because I know they've just reunited, I would love a Lizzie Hale Flyleaf, Lacey Sturm collab. Or who else? Who else would I love? Lizzie Hale and
I feel like Miley Cyrus or Lady Gaga would be
oh
so cool.
yes, Miley Cyrus. Absolutely. Do you know what? Miley Cyrus was going to be my other choice for this interview.
Really?
Yeah, love
Oh,
her.
that was fun. She's also like so metal. Like she covers
Oh,
a lot of fuck, what's it called? It's in my head. Fleetwood Mac. She covers a lot of that. So
she
she's like
does.
very good at like that side of stuff as well.
Yeah. Her cover of Zombie is
Mm.
haunting. I've just loved her since the Hannah Montana days. And she's just brilliant. I just love Miley.
She is so metal as well. Like her and Lizzie Hale
Yeah.
would be so good together.
God, it would be so good. I've never even thought of that, but you are right. Oh, we need to do it. We need to make it happen.
Yeah, let me
How do we
just
make it
drop Lizzie
happen?
Hale a text. But out of like the current collaborations that she's done as well, which ones have been your favorites?
I recently heard the I Prevail one and I really like it. I think it's really cool.
It took me
And
by surprise the first time I listened to it. I think because when the
yeah,
bridge kicked in, I was expecting it to get heavy and it went electronic instead.
yes.
So it took me a couple of listens to get into it, but it's so good.
Absolutely. Yeah, it took me by surprise the first time, but because I don't know, I never saw that match because
Mm.
I really like I Prevail. But when I saw that they'd collabed, I was like, "Oh, nice." And then it took me a couple of listens, but I think I think it's really good and I really liked the electronic bit because I think yeah, I really liked it. So that one is my fave so far.
Yeah,
I don't
I need to listen to it again.
Okay, that's your homework. You listen to that.
How the turntables.
Absolutely.
So, as I mentioned before, like one of the things I hear first when I listen to music are the lyrics. Like I'm so big on lyrics. Um, and I myself, I've got a Halestorm logo tattooed on my shoulder, and I've got the word freak tattooed on me because when I was at uni, I started my own like website for music reviews and I called it Freak after Freak Like Me.
Love
Just for
that.
some reason, like that song has always like meant so much to me that I got the word tattooed on me. But if you could get any Hailstorm lyric tattooed on you, which lyric would you choose?
Oh my gosh.
It's a big question.
That's a huge question. Oh goodness me. Um, I actually don't know. I don't know if I can give you an answer to that.
You can give
I
me a
don't
few
know.
answers.
A few answers. I'm like singing the songs through in my head right now.
Just on like times five speed to get through all of them.
Yeah. All I can think of is like sexual words, and I just think, oh, I can't get that.
That's
I can't get
another
that.
reason why I liked getting the word freak tattooed on me though, because it's got three meanings then.
That's so true.
And I always
Um,
like change my answer depending on who's asking me why I have that tattooed on me.
oh my God. Okay, I've got one.
Go
I
on.
think I would get Here's to Us.
Oh,
I think I like that
yeah.
because it's simple, it's nice, and It would be something from that song,
Yeah.
I think. Here's to us. I think that's really nice. Yes, that's my answer. Here's to us.
Oh, I love that. There's literally like so many you could choose from. Like
Yeah.
especially so on their latest album, they've got the song Raise Your Horns,
Mm.
which is also like I don't know if it's Lizzie Hale's charity or just a charity she's a part of, but it's like mental health for the like
Oh,
heavy music industry called Raise
I
Your
love
Horns. So it's got like a double meaning to it. So I think I would probably want to get like Raise Your Horns tattooed on me too.
that's amazing. If I knew that, that would have been my answer.
See, that's why you got to listen to the new album.
I'm so sorry. I'm such a fake. I'm an imposter, Jazz. Oh.
So, if you were directing someone listening to Hailstorm for the first time ever, which
Mm,
three tracks would you choose that encapsulates them perfectly?
okay. Um, Familiar Taste of Poison, Miss the Misery, and Mayhem.
Oh, nice. Three different albums as well. We love it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, love that. I was trying to think, I was like, should I say one off the new album or is that too obvious that I'm lying? I need to listen to it more.
But
What
yeah,
would yours be?
oh, I definitely love Bites because it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
of course.
heaviest side of them. Um, either either Break In or Raise Your Horns as a slow
Oh,
song.
yeah.
And then maybe, fuck, I don't know what my third one would be. I've got the albums here in front of me and I'm trying to pick one from a different album. But
It is so hard because they've got so many amazing songs, like so many. Every album has a banger on it, at least
maybe
one. Or
maybe one from Into the Wildlife. There's the track I Like It Heavy,
Oh,
which
that's good.
yeah, that one was like, especially when I was a kid and I started getting into music, like
Yeah.
that one was great for me. So those are the three I would choose.
Cool. Thank you for that.
And so are you a fan of band merch?
Oh, yeah.
Do you
Absolutely.
have any Hailstorm merch?
I used to have a hoodie. I don't know where it is. Well, this is going back like 7 years ago though, so I do know where it is. I used to have a hoodie and a t-shirt that I bought from the same show, and I used to wear it just constantly, all the time. The hoodie, I don't know where it is, but it was like my first ever band hoodie. And it
Mm.
was just like I got like oversized big black hoodie, just a big red hailstorm text on the back. I just used to wear it all the time. It became like my identity.
Hmm.
And and it popped into my head last week, and I thought, where is that hoodie? Because it's oversized. It's perfect because I can still wear it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like buying oversized stuff.
Yeah, I love it. Do you have any other Hailstorm merch?
So I've got this one because it's got a really cool photo of Lizzie on it. Hang on.
Love that.
And I have, oh, when I saw them play Alexandra Palace with New Year's Day and In This Moment, they had
Mm.
a kind of like a black and white satanic nun t-shirt on their
Oh, that's
Vicious tour. And my first ever tattoo was a satanic nun.
oh my God.
So I saw that t-shirt and I was like, I have to get it. It was made for me.
It's a sign.
Exactly. And I have a Hailstorm freak flag as well.
Amazing.
And most recently, when I saw them December just gone for my birthday, I
Mm.
also got a hoodie and it's like red tie-dye.
That's so cool.
It's also my favorite and also my identity as well now.
I love it. I love it. You can't beat it. You can't beat band merch.
I know. If Hailstorm were to make any other type of merch, what would you want them to make? Have you seen they've
Uh,
made like on their official website store, they've got like a intimacy kit.
No, I
Yeah,
haven't seen that.
blindfold, handcuffs, Halestorm branded lube.
Wow, really? I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen that, but I will have a look.
I've unfortunately not bought it, but I'm like, maybe
I'm
one day.
surprised you haven't bought it.
Maybe I should. It seemed like a really weird thing to ask my dad for Christmas, though, so maybe not.
Oh gosh, can you imagine? That's so funny. I don't know. I wish bands would make socks because
Yes.
I would love a pair of like white Hailstorm socks with like a little color like ring.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like a
yeah,
little stripe.
that would be cool. I hadn't thought about that before, actually.
I'd love some socks.
Right, we'll start writing a letter to Hailstorm about all the things we want them to do.
Absolutely. Socks, please.
Books, collaborations, anything else.
Absolutely. Oh,
So
I
I
would love
have,
a hat too. Sorry, carry on. I just daydream about a
like
hailstorm hat now.
like a baseball cap would be
Like a
cool.
cap, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
they should do that. That would look really cool.
I'm surprised they don't. Maybe they have. Surely they have in the past.
Oh well, should have done our research before this.
I know. Someone listening is going to be like, I've got a hailstorm cap
Right here.
right here.
So I have one more question for you, and it's quite a heavily loaded question.
Oh God.
But as a woman in heavy music, what
Mm.
did discovering not just Lizzie Hale, but women in music in general mean to you?
Oh God. Like, I can't explain to you the feeling of relief and like empowerment. I think, let's talk about like the relief. I think realizing women can do it is it's just because as a young girl growing up and knowing that music is what you want to do, until you are exposed to somebody in the same boat as you, like Lizzie Hale was to me, seeing somebody older than me doing exactly what I wanted to do, um, I just felt this overwhelming sense of relief because I was like, wow, I can actually do that. Like I can do it. She's a woman, she's up there. All of these people are here to see her, and she's just amazing. And I think that relief is something that I will always remember because, relief is a mix of inspiration and excitement and self-belief as well. And obviously, like, without delving into what it's like to be a woman in the music industry, when it gets hard, you know that you can always think back and remember that relief
Hmm.
of like, you know, people are out there doing it. We can do it too. You just have to just keep doing it. And we need more women, obviously. We need more women in music. And I work in a lot of so my job is to go around primary schools and I put children into rock bands. And making sure that the girls at school know that they don't just have to be the vocalist. They can play guitar, they can play the drums, they can play the keyboard, they can do whatever they want to do. It's like, I want to be that for them.
Yeah.
So I hope that other girls can look up at, they can find someone one day, whether it's Lizzie Hale, whether it's Lady Gaga or Miley Cyrus, and they can think, like they have that same feeling of relief when they see them. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, they've done it. I can do it too.
Yeah,
And
like
I think,
it's important to be able to like you don't know you can do something until you see someone just like you doing it.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
and I got that as well. Like when I was listening to heavy music when I was younger. Like the bands I was first into was like Maiden, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC.
Mm.
And like I used to sing a lot when I was younger as well. And because those were the bands I was singing along to, my voice was like naturally gravelly because that's what I
Yeah.
was singing along to. And for
Mm.
so long, all the women that I knew in music was like Girls Aloud and stuff, and like no other woman kind of like sounded remotely similar to like what I was trying to do. So
Mm.
until you see someone else doing it, like Lizzie Hale, you're like, okay, this is fine. This is normal. I
Yes.
can do that.
Yeah. It's the reassurance. You're
Yeah.
just like, right, I'm in the right lane. This is normal. I can do this. Like, this is a special thing that I've found within myself, and I can do it because look who's doing it as well. Like, it's just it's great. And I think it's hard to like maintain that inspiration, but sometimes you do just have to kind of sit back and think, no, I can do it.
Exactly. Well, we're going to leave that there. Thank you so much for having this chat with me. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. And I hope you enjoyed yourself as well.
I did. I loved it. Thank you, Jazz.
Thank you for listening to I'm Your Biggest Fan. If you enjoyed what you heard, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, send it to your nan in the post. Every little helps. You can follow us everywhere at biggestfan_pod. Follow me everywhere at Wrathchild_Jazz. Noise at Noise UK on everything. Noise Podcast Network at Noise Podcast Network on everything. And Satanic Tico at Satanic Tico and at Pitch Black Nor. If you have a band member in mind that you think would be perfect for this podcast, perfect for this topic of conversation, or maybe you are the band member and you're the super fan, drop us a comment, drop us an email. All other info can be found below in the description. And thanks again for listening. We'll catch you soon.